Hey, what's going on, boys? My name is Asian Psycho, aka Toy Sniper 98. So, this will be what I think is the first of a new series, let's call it that, of me going over brand new JP servants. So, I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while now, actually. Realistically, ever since I launched my Patreon. Check out the Patreon, by the way, if you want to support me. I definitely need it right now. And yeah, but I didn't really act on it until like recently when I was sitting around and I think I was watching not the last preview stream for FGO that our FGO JP had for the Samurai Remnant collab, but the last stream before that one that they did. And so I was thinking about it to myself and I was like, huh, why don't I, make videos on like new JP servants that have come out recently. Like give my 2 cents on how I think they are servants, how good I think they are, and how I think they'll they'll perform in FGO as a whole. People have asked me before, like especially when I first went full-time content creator like last year, they've asked me like, oh, do you plan on doing like JP content at all, considering you're trying to go full-time on content creation? And at the time I said no, but I'm starting to change my mind slowly. I'm not sure if I'll ever like actually start up a JP account. I think that's a little bit too much. But what I can compromise on is at least kind of inching my way into making JP related content. Again, probably gonna stay. It's probably still gonna stay clear of actually like playing JP, the JP server outright. I'll probably still stick to NA as in like actually playing the game, but I can at least talk about the JP servants that are coming that as they come out. And considering JP's relatively slow turnout of servants these days for like the past year or so, ever since JP switched over to 3-week events and stuff like that. I figure I don't need to make too many of these videos. At least I don't think so, unless of course the Samurai Remnant collab event here like has a part 2 banner, which some people are anticipating. So there we go. Anticipating is the right word I was looking for there. So yeah, let's get started on the 3 new servants that we know of from the Samurai Remnant collab. Starting with Iori, the good old master from Samurai Remnant the game. So ironic that he's the welfare servant now, the 4-star welfare, while his servant Takeru is the 5-star from New Year's. Actually, I guess along these lines, since Takeru's obviously a Samurai Remnant servant just outside of the collab, I should probably go over her, their, I don't know what the pronouns, their kit as well, because might as well, right, while we're at it. I'll pull up who is it, Takeru's post, or her, their entry on the wiki after we go over Iori, hopefully, if I remember to. So, let's get started. Let's take a look at Iori and what he's got. So, right off the bat, he's got a really high attack. It's just shy of 10k. For those of you guys who are not aware, if you have 10k as a 4-star servant, that's really high. I want to say the average attack stat for 4 stars is around like 9,000 or so, because I'm pretty sure there are 4 stars out there that have very low attack stats, like down to like 8,000. Obviously, we all know about Saber Lily and how she has only 7,000 attack stat. So Iori having just shy of 10,000 is amazing. Yeah, that's one hell of an attack stat. I've been seeing on Twitter, on my Twitter timeline recently, I've been seeing all these memes about how Iori just loves being at Chaldea because he has all these servants that he can have absolutely banger fights with. And shit, bro. If he's packing 10k attack stat under his belt as a 4-star, then yeah, maybe he can take on some of the servants at Chaldea, So very high attack stat. You love to see it. And so yeah, other than that, going down his stat line here, MP charge tag 0.42, 4-hit arts NP, about standard. That's usually FGO new servants these days have like high attack stat, or not attack stat, high MP, low MP charge tag, sorry, but with high hit counts usually. Usually it's better that way, just because higher hit counts means servants have better chance of generating more stars, especially if they have star generation rate buffs somewhere. Usually it doesn't really apply to arts cards because arts cards don't by default generate any stars, but you know, it might come in handy every once in a while. So, but yeah, 0.42 MP charge attack with 4 hit MP, or 4 hit arts, 3 hit quicks, 6 hit extras. Yeah, sounds about right, as far as I can tell anyway. And any traits? Any traits? Loved one. I think this is Brynhilda's beloved trait. Guess that makes sense, except he's a saber, so not the best use of Brynhilda's beloved there, unfortunately. But other than that, his traits all look pretty standard. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. But yeah, definitely the big takeaway from his stats is 10,000 attack. So again, you love to see it. All right, let's go over his stats real quick. So, akin to Ice, first skill, increase own star absorption, own star weight for 3 turns by 300, 500, standard for sabers. Great that he has his own star weight skill, though. Very convenient. Increases own crit damage, also comes with his own crit damage buff. Very nice. Because often you'll see servants who have one buff or the other, like either a crit damage buff or a star weight buff, but not both on the same, you know, either on the same skill or within the same kit even. So, the fact that his first skill has everything he needs to be a both crit weight or star weight and crit damage is really nice to see. He also generates his own crit stars, 10 stars every turn for 3 turns, so that's amazing too. Jesus, that is quite the loaded crit skill there. And increases his own mental debuff resist for 3 turns. I'm sure that that'll come in handy situationally, considering, you know, what is this debuff? Terror, okay. That's not really too common, but it does come up every once in a while. I think, honestly, stuff like Charm. I think Charm would probably be the most common. Either Charm or Confusion. These two show up relatively, well, not relatively, occasionally. Enough to, like, make you remember that they come up every so often. So I guess that's not bad. It would have been better, obviously, if it were just a general blanket or a global debuff resist, but, you know. Still not bad. I mean, obviously, this is just kind of like the extra effect tacked on. Like, obviously, you're going to be using the skill for all of its crit perks. So, yeah, good stats on these. Freaking, you know, star weight, crit damage, even a star region effect onto it, all for 3 turns. Yeah, this is an amazing skill. So, yeah, coupled with a balanced deck and then 10k attack. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Definitely run Iori as a crit saber, that's for sure. Second skill, Crimson Codex. I'm assuming this has something to do with the codex that he has in game in Samurai Remnant. I haven't played Samurai Remnant in case you guys haven't noticed, in case you guys couldn't tell. So, yeah, probably some lore there that I'm not aware of. So yeah, 30% battery, decent. Attack, 20% attack, good. And even more stars. Shit, he has 2 crit stars or star bomb skills on two separate skills. Like, wow. This is a 4-star we're talking about, right? Not a 5-star. And even most 5-stars don't even have 2 separate star regen skills. So yeah. So effectively what this means is he has a 30 star bomb, but he needs to wait a turn, basically. Because, yeah, star regen skills don't activate, don't give you stars immediately. They give you stars on the next turn after you use it, or after you use the skill. So, I guess what he could do is, even if he needs stars now on the same turn that he uses his first skill, he can still use his first 2 skills together, and he'll get the 20 stars in order to use immediately right away on the first turn that he uses this skill, his first skill. So, and then he's got more stars to back him up on his next turns or whatever. So, that's actually a pretty nice touch. His first 2 skills alone give him a lot of crit star flexibility or crit flexibility. I like this a lot, actually. And then inflicts burn for 3 turns onto all enemies. This is kind of a random effect. Again, I assume it's lore based because of his Crimson Codex thing from Samurai Remnant. So yeah, kind of odd that he has like a random ass burn effect. But I guess that could, you know, set him up for something, I guess, or set you up for something else, because, you know, there are some servants out there like Yang Yuan who can really benefit from, you know, their allies putting burn on enemies for them. Not sure how useful that's going to be, because, you know, Iori is supposed to be a DPS and not a support, but it's there, I guess. So again, I see we're keeping in line with his skills having really good, like 3 really good effects, and then the 4th effect is like kind of like, where'd this come from? Anyways, still a great skill overall. And then finally his 3rd skill, and this is his projection skill, 20% all triple color buffs for 3 turns, and it reduces his own damage taken by for 3 turns, and grants self evasion for 2 attacks 3 turns. Kind of odd that they've given yet again they're giving a damage, like some sort of defensive effect on top of a hard defense skill. But I guess if he's in like a solo situation, then yeah, it'll obviously take effect, or it'll obviously come in handy. Yeah, either like a defense buff or a damage reduction, damage taken reduction or whatever. I guess it's not bad. It's but overall the skill is obviously great. It's his hard defense skill along with his main triple color buffs. So yeah, between his 1st skill and his 2nd skill, he does have 2 color mods, or he does have two different buff types. So yeah. So far, so good. He's got hard defense, he's got crit support, self crit support, and he's got an attack buff. So, and his battery, of course, 30%. So yeah, so far so good. It's nothing's complicated, but the way that the skills are set up and what they do seem very interesting. And I think that there's a ton of synergy, especially between his 1st and 2nd skills. And his 3rd skill, you just kind of pop whenever either he needs to MP or whenever he needs to protect himself from an enemy NP or something like that. So far I'm really liking what I see, and they're all uniform to 867 or 876, sorry. 8 to 6 turn cooldowns. This is actually really nice because if you put him in Arts team, as you should, because I believe he has an Arts MP. No, he has a Buster MP. Never mind. Here I am so Arts pilled that I automatically thought it was an Arts an Arts servant. Yeah, as if, right? But anyways, yeah. So yeah, standard to see. Because these skills are really good, I'm not surprised that they're on 8 to 6 turn cooldowns. Standard passive list here, magic resist writing. You usually see that on a lot of sabers. And this makes sense. His A3 being against other saber enemies. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I kind of wonder if Musashi also has the same A3 actually against sabers. Actually, since I'm curious, let's look it up. Miyamoto Musashi, what is your A3? Is it also against sabers? No, it's actually against berserkers. Wow, okay. That's a little bit surprising. But in any case, let's go back real quick. Back to Iori. So yeah, makes sense that he deals more damage against other sabers. And finally, his MP. Let's take a look. So, first increases his own quick and buster performance by 20% for 3 turns. And ignores evasion. This is really nice. And single target damage to one enemy, obviously, and then gains even more crit stars. The fact that he has redundancy in his own star generation is really nice to see. I think they did this bit with the 3-star, one of the recent 3-stars, Theseus, I think his name was, where, like, on every single one of his skills, he had, like, a star bomb. So, like, I really like this. Like, the fact that he has multiple ways of generating crit stars is really nice to see. And I'm kind of glad that they're actually, Lozengo is continuing this design choice, where with Iori, he's got 3 different ways of generating crit stars. Obviously, he's not on paper anyway. He shouldn't be using his MP too often, but still, it's nice that he's still able to pop some stars with it. So, yeah, it's just really nice to see. And he gives himself a free Buster and Quick buff off his MP. Kind of weird that he gives himself a Quick buff. Like, why a Quick buff? He only has 1 Quick card, right? Yeah, because he has a balanced deck. Kind of a missed opportunity there, honestly. Obviously, it would have been much better if they had given it an arts buff. Because, like, why would you give him a buff to, like, a card that he only has one of? So that's it's a little bit confusing. Maybe there's a lore reason. I mean, usually there is. Maybe there's like a lore reason for that. But I mean, he still gets a Buster buff out of this. So, and his MP is Buster, so that's what's important. But yeah, effectively this means that combined with his third skill, I believe, his triple color projection, yeah, his triple color buff, he effectively gives himself a 40% buster buff along with a 20% attack buff from his second skill. So his his self MP damage should be pretty good. Like, it's solid. On top of him having, again, the magic 10k attack stat, like, for a welfare, he should be hitting pretty hard. Should be. Yeah. Like, this should be, like, comparable damage to, like, somebody like Rider Kentoki, if not even more. Because technically, Rider Kentoki, he does a lot of single target quick damage, but he can only give himself, like, a 40% quick buff or something like that. Like, maybe 50%? I forget how much it is. Probably 40. And yeah, we all know how strong Rider Kentoki is. So yeah, Iori is just built different here, I believe. And he gets a free evasion pierce as well off his MP. Ooh yeah, what's not to like about this? So, I know for a fact that Iori can confidently fight Ku, Lancer Ku. Oh, protection from arrows. Oh, how cute. Just uses MP on his ass. Guess what, bitch? I have Pierce Evasion. So, yeah. I can definitely see a lot of, quite a bit of challenge quest potential in who is it? In Iori here. I mean, just for memes, you could probably even like legitimately use him against other Saber enemies, and that'd probably be okay still. Thanks to his A3. I mean, I assume you can even unlock that shit, because, you know, welfares and welfare servant coins, Omega lol. La Zengal universal servant coins win. So, yeah. I guess we'll take a look at his Max Bonsi, just to see what it's like. When equipped on Miyamoto, or when equipped on Iori. Buster, quick, and MP damage. And for the whole party, too. This is quite interesting. Because technically this is a really good max bond CE, because it's double color, buster and quick, and it's MP damage support. So yeah, that's a really good max bond CE. The problem is it's on fucking Iori. So not sure about that one. Not sure about about that one, Chief. Not too sure about that one. Yeah, that would have been much better off if Iori were like a support saber somehow, but yeah. Can't really recommend that because, you know, Iori is definitely not a support. Far from it. So, oh well. Max Bond Cs are pretty much trash anyway, so it's not like you're missing out on much, but was just curious on what his Max Bond C looked like. In any case though, yeah, no, Iori is looking to be one of our better, if not one of our best, welfare servants in the game. Like, his stats are solid, especially with that 10k attack. Like, bro, I want to say he has the highest attack out of any welfare servant in the game. I want to say. I certainly can't think of any other welfare servant off the top of my head who has, like, damn near 10k attack stat. I know, like, Rider Kentoki might come close. I think he might have, what is it, like 9,800? We can check real quick. Kentoki or Rider. Yeah, he has 9,800. So he's close, but not like, you know, Iori levels of, you know, literally 9999. 9999. So, yeah. Iori's strong, man. There ain't no way he can't be. Unless I'm just not considering something that I'm like that I can't see, because I don't play JP. Like, surely he must be strong, right? And also considering the fact that he's a buster, so a buster NP, a buster servant with his own 30% battery. So I'd imagine you could run him with like something like Black Rail, and you know, run him with run him with double coin Skya if he needs to clear 2 waves on his own, or to clear 2 bosses on his own or something like that, or break 2 bars. Then yeah, double coin Skya and then Oberon plug suit. So yeah, he will definitely kick a lot of ass for sure. Built-in crit support. 30% battery, attack buff, even if it's a small one, still 20%. It's not nothing, obviously. 3 different ways to generate crit stars. A hard defense skill with his 2 evade. Yeah, and triple color buff. I can't see how he's not good, bro. And of course, his final ascension art is fucking sick as hell. Love to see it. So yeah, Iori is pretty damn good. They definitely cooked with him. Alright, let's look up Takeru. I don't know what his last name is. Yamato, okay. There we go. Again, I don't know what his gender is. I mean, even the game doesn't know, so. In any case, let's take a look at Takeru and see what they've got. So, he is just like his master, their master. Just like Iori, they are also a saber. So, 12,526 HP, not HP, attack. That is also very high, for a 5-star, servant. The average, attack stat for 5-star servants is like somewhere around 11,000. Yeah, 11,000, maybe about 11,500. So, the fact that Takeru is, like, very clearly in the higher, on the higher half of the attack stat, like, you know, ladder. Not sure what else to call it. Yeah, that's really good. Very, very strong. Very high attack stat there. What else? I'm kind of surprised their sky attribute. Yeah, I don't know. Admittedly, I'm not very familiar with Japanese mythology or like Japanese folklore / history. So, I'm assuming that, you know, whatever myth or legend they come from involves them being divine or whatever. So, I assume that's the case, considering he has sky attribute. What else? Neutral good. 0. He's got a very low MP charge attack stat. Like, and he's got the same balance deck. So, Iori, his master, their master, has 0.42 with 4-hit arts, 4-hit arts cards, and he also has a balanced deck. So you're telling me Takeru, has the same deck, the same hit counts. Matter of fact, they're actually lower, I think, right? Because the extra doesn't have 6 hits on it. Whereas for Iori, he does. Well, Iori loses a hit on his quick card, and compared to him, Takeru does have 1 extra hit card, or 1 extra hit on his quick card. So I guess that's in Takeru's favor normally. But yeah, going from 0.42 all the way down to 0.3. I kind of wonder. Oh, I know why. It's because of his It's because of their MP. Yeah, because their MP is arts. So yeah, that makes sense. They can get away. Iori can get away with having a higher MP generation rate because yeah, MP gen, because his MP isn't arts, it's Buster. So yeah, Lazingle doesn't care. But yeah, this makes more sense, especially when Takeru has a 8-hit MP and it's arts. So yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately that means that because their MP is AoE arts and it has 8 hits on it, yeah, their actual arts face card MP gen is not going to be that good at all, unfortunately. I guess that just goes to show that Takeru is mainly intended to be a looping saber to begin with. So, I mean, that's kind of your fate if you have an arts AoE MP with a high hit count at all. So, guess you gotta know what you're dealing with, I guess. Other than that, though, yeah. So low MP charge attack because of his high hit count arts AoE MP, but still very high attack stat. And balanced deck, 4-hit arts, 4-hit quick, 3-hit buster, 5-hit extra. Okay. Got that. Let's go move on to his skills. Their skills. Bloodstained Prince EX gets self-gut status, charges on MP gauge 30%, and grants. Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, so this is the skill that gives him gives him MP charge 20%, 25% anytime his allies are defeated. Yeah, this one's the weird one, where it's like, okay, why do you get MP charge when your teammates die? Like, how would you go about doing that exactly? Like, Changong, maybe? Changong or somebody? Apparently, rumor has it that there's gonna be a servant somewhere, like sometime in the future. Maybe people were maybe there were rumors that that either Yui or Ushi Gozen had something that would like force enemies, like force your own servants to die or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they were referring to, maybe the rumors are referring to somebody else in the future. But yeah, I think this is the effect that people were saying that, oh, this is gonna have synergy with like some other servant later down the line or something like that. So, so because of that, I'm not gonna judge this effect too harshly. Other than it's just a little bit weird. Like this is kind of random. Like where'd this come from? So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Takeru's been in the game for the last what 2.5 weeks so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if people have figured out people on GP have figured out like a use for this, or if it's just like all theory crafting for now. But yeah, obviously the big effect of this first skill is the 30% charge naturally. The guts is nice too, I guess. It's a soft defense skill, I suppose. But yeah, the on death activate MP regen is the MP charge is a little bit strange. Not sure what to make of that for now. Alright, second skill. It increases damage against divine and demonic enemies for 3 turns and increases their own crit damage by 30%, all for 3 turns on an 8 to 6 turn cooldown. Yeah, this is very strong. Power mod buffs against both divine and demonic, both at 50%. So this is very useful, obviously, because divine and demonic enemies are very common. More so demonic, but there are still quite a few divine enemies out there too. So yeah, this will definitely help with Takeru fighting against non-class advantage or fighting without class advantage. So I do think this is a very useful skill. Obviously, it would have been better if it were something like MP damage, but this is still good. This is still good, especially when it's at 50% as well. And finally, their third skill, 30% arts buff for 3 turns. MP damage, there's the MP damage. For 1 turn only. 20%. And it charges down MP gauge at 20% as well. So he has a 50% battery. This is kind of awkward though. The fact that he has his 2 damage buffs split up like this. Yeah, that's a little strange. And unfortunately for Takeru, and sorry about the screen flash. I don't know what's causing that. Maybe because I have too many applications on my PC right now. But yeah. Yeah, this is kind of awkward. Because, like, obviously when it comes to looping, you want to have all your buffs up at the same time, right? You want to pop all your buffs. So that way, especially on an art servant, you want them to refund themselves as much charge as possible. So if you wanted to take advantage of the MP damage buff, since it's only for 1 turn, that means you have to not use this third skill until like the last wave, but then you'd be missing out on 30% arts buff. And it's 30%, it's not nothing. In fact, that's the more significant part of his third skill's buffs. So yeah, like naturally you would have to use this on the first turn to get him started looping. But then obviously the MP damage buff itself at 20% is not going to stick around. The one takeaway, or the one good thing at least, is remember that when it comes to buff types in FGO, divine, like power mods like these against like specific traits like divine and demonic are considered, are put in the same category as MP damage. So if for example Takeru were hitting like either a divine or demonic enemy, then and he has both his skills active, or both his second and third skills active, then the game will just add 50 with 20 to give him a 70% total power mod buff. So I guess in that sense, as long as he's hitting the right traits, him not getting the MP damage buff isn't that serious or isn't that bad. But at the same time, again, if he's not hitting against these traits, then yeah, it's like he's getting no third power mod here with either MP damage or his power mod, his anti-divine or demonic power mod. So that's honestly a shame. I'm kind of confused as to why they didn't just make this a 3-turn skill. Because yeah, that would have been really nice, but I guess we'll never know. So yeah, it would have been a great skill had had this skill's MP damage effect been for 3 turns, but as it is, it's a good one. Considering this, it gives them the 20% charge that they need to complete their first skills battery up to 50%. So it's not bad by no means. Oh, there's his divinity passive. There you go. And then, as with most sabers, they've got magic resistant writing. Let's see, third append skill against sabers, like master, like servant. Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. And then finally, their NP. So 8-hit AoE arts, 500% chance to reduce one enemy's arts resistance by 50% for 1 turn, and it activates first. Wow, that is the best debuff I've seen on an NP ever in FGO. Maybe with the exception of, like, say, like Waivers' 50% defense debuff. That and Reigns, I guess, because they both have it. But, well, assuming they're both MP5, but still. But, like, damn. A 500% chance, a near guaranteed chance to land Arts Resist by 50% for 1 turn. So you're telling me that Takeru has potentially... Not even potentially. He has, or they have, an 80% arts buff whenever they use their NP. Possibly a 20% NP damage buff, depending on what turn they use it on. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Then again, though, that's all they have, though. Unless they actually save their 3rd skill for the 3rd wave, so that way they can also take advantage of the MP damage buff. But if you have to use their skill on the 1st turn, which they usually will, and they're not hitting against divine or demonic enemies, yeah. I mean, an 80% attack buff is still great, don't get me wrong, but you kind of would like to see some, like, buff stacking here. I mean, again, because he's AoE arts, so it's like, yeah, obviously you're going to be using them with you know, Castori and whatnot, so don't even worry about it, I guess. But yeah, that's still pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen an NP debuff, like a debuff built into an NP quite that good before. Again, with maybe the exceptions of like MP5 Reigns or Waivers is like 50% defense debuff on their NPs. So that's quite notable. Yeah, and then reduces all defense afterwards. Reduces all enemies' defense afterwards for 3 turns. So naturally good against, also great against single wave bosses with like ads or whatever. That have multiple break bars, I guess. Anyways, gonna take a quick look at his Bond CE real quick. And it is. Increases party's damage against divine enemies, blah, 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 and against divine enemy. Again, same issue with Iori's max bond C. Technically, it's not bad, but you're giving a support bond C to somebody who's supposed to be a DPS, so it's like what went wrong here? Tell me, Lozangle. Who keeps designing these shitty-ass bond Cs, you know? So, yeah. I've been hearing people wonder about, like, you know, who's the better looper now, Muramasa or Takeru. I would assume it's Takeru, no? Yeah, I would assume for now it would be Takeru, cause three turn arts buff and whatnot. Yeah. 3-turn arts buff, and he literally gives himself a 50% arts buff every single turn, assuming that he's able to loop properly every single turn as well. He does have a very low MP charge attack stat at only 0.3, so that'll most likely have an effect here. Yeah. Yeah, on the surface, I would say that he's able to loop better than who is it? Than Muramasa. Maybe I'm sure people have already done testing to see who's technically better at MP gen. So I'm actually kind of curious to know from you guys, or for those of you for those of you who do know the answer to that, whether or not Takeru is better at Muramasa than MP at arts looping or vice versa. So, but yeah, obviously he's meant to be Takeru's meant to be a an arts looping servant, another arts looping saber. So yeah, I think initial assessment is that he's either a side grade of Muramasa or he's just a straight upgrade. So I guess either people have found out what he really is, or time will tell what he turns out to be. Also, people have said that his Takeru's second ascension is basically the Persona ascension because he looks like Naoto from P4. I think that's her name. I've never played any of the Persona games, so I don't know. Forgive me. But yeah, that's that. That's Takeru. All right, Yui. So the weird girl who uses swords, yet she's a caster. So, yeah. Caster Yui Shosetsu, or Shosetsu Yui. Alright, let's see what you've got. So, typical stats for a caster, very low attack. And remember that because she's a caster, it's technically even lower than this, because, 0.9 times 0.9x damage modifier, class damage modifier. High HP, again, typical. 0.54% MP charge on attack, 3-hit arts with the standard caster deck. Nothing out of the ordinary here. At least I don't think so. And yeah, anything traits related? Humanoid, hominid, humanoid. I noticed that they have both humanoid and hominidae servant. Because I don't think Iori had humanoid. I guess that makes sense, yeah, because Iori is probably still considered like living human or something. That's what a lot of welfares are considered as well. Whereas humanoid is for, servants, like actual servants. I don't know. FGO lore and just Fate lore in general is fucking weird. Anyways, 3-hit arts cards, 3-hit buster, 4-hit quick, 5-hit extra. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary there. Oh, nothing out of the ordinary there. Alright, moving on to her skills. Unnatural creation, subspecies C, grants self gut status 1 time 5 turns, so soft defense skill. Recovers own HP every turn for 5 turns. Grants self debuff immunity for 1 time 3 turns. Yeah, no. This should be a pretty damn good a pretty damn good defensive skill. The thing I want to point out here is the fact that her gut status lasts for 5 turns, yet it only has an 8 to 6 turn cooldown. So most gut skills in FGO only have if most regular gut skills like OG gut skills or battle continuation or whatever they called it or whatever their official names are, they would last for 1 time 5 turns, right? And usually they would have, or almost all the time they would have 9 to 7 turn cooldowns. So that was usually how they were designed. So to see that Yui has what seems to be a standard guts, a standard battle performance or battle continuation, sorry. Yet she has it on an 8 to 6 turn cooldown, which means that there's only, theoretically anyway, as long as her guts doesn't expire or it doesn't get used up early, she has a 1 turn window where she doesn't have a guts up. That's pretty freaking good. So yeah, that's quite unique, or something that I felt like pointing out there. Outside of comma infinite guts shenanigans and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the recover HP is also nice too. I kind of wish that the HP recovery were a bit higher, because only healing for 500 to 1000 HP isn't really gonna do much. I kind of wish it scaled from either 500 to 1500 or 1000 to 2000. That would be a lot more significant. Because yeah, assuming that her guts gets popped, midway through the skill, and then and she recovers with assuming she's Lord. So if she recovers with only 3000 HP, that's only 3000 HP. And even though she will heal for 1000 afterwards to give her 4000 HP, even still 4000 HP isn't really a lot. Especially not when Yui already has, 13,000? So. No, overshooting ourselves here. So yeah, surprisingly good first skill. But, obviously it's not, obviously it doesn't help her, sorry. tripping over my words here. It doesn't help her out with her actual damage, though. It's still decent. Yeah, I'll go. Well, let's go with that. It's decent. Anyways, second skill, charges party MP gauge, 20%. That's nice. Kind of reminds me of Helena's first skill. Increase party's MP damage except for herself for 3 turns. That's good, and it's a 30% MP damage buff. This is a really good support skill. 20% battery, 30% MP damage buff. Yeah, obviously it doesn't. She doesn't give herself one because she doesn't need to. Because MP is what, a support MP or a utility MP, something like that. Gains crit stars, 15 crit stars every turn for 3 turns. She can actually even be a crit star support too. So I would imagine she'd be able to support a crit servant really, really well if she had, like, something like 20-30 or something. So yeah, 15 stars as well every turn for 3 turns. That's not a small amount. And it also finally reduces enemies' attack for 3 turns by 10 to 20%. So also okay. But this skill is unfortunately on a 9 to 7 turn cooldown, so that's gonna take a while to it's gonna take a while for this skill to come off cooldown. That's for sure. So yeah, use this skill wisely. Still really good support skill. 20% battery and 30% MP damage buff. And finally, her third skill increases one ally's arts performance by 20 to 30% for 3 turns. Increases their crit damage by 20 to 30% for 3 turns. And charges her own MP gauge. So she also has, it seems like, her own 50% battery. Which is strange because she has a support or utility MP. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, obviously the best effect on this skill is the arts buff. The crit damage buff would be nice if she would give it to, like, Iori. I'm pretty sure Iori and Yui have something going on in Samurai Remnant, from what I've read off Twitter. So yeah, I guess that makes sense that her second skill is really, really good for Iori. Would be even better if they also gave him a buster buff of some kind, but not quite that then, or not quite that. Still, a solid third skill. Mainly for the 30% arts buff, naturally. Again, 8 to 6 turn cooldown. Territory creation, arts performance, okay. And then item construction, increases zone, debuff rate. And then what is her third attack stat, or third attack append, or third append against other casters? What is with the Samurai Remnant servants and absolutely hating other enemies from their own class? It's kind of funny. All right, MP time. So arts MP as expected. This NP's main effects are actually pretty unique because I've never seen this done before. So depending on what color buff her teammates have, because I believe this is on the entire team, right? Increases attack with allies. Yeah, exactly. So it's for the entire team. Of course, like, why wouldn't it be? So if they have a quick buff, that means that they get a free attack buff. Not free, but they get a 20 to 30% attack buff. If they have an active arts buff, that means that their crit damage increases by 30 to 50%. And if they've got a buster damage, if they got a buster performance buff, that means that increases their MP damage. So also from 20 to 30%. This is pretty cool. I've never seen anything quite like this. I'm pretty sure. Law Zingle has never done something quite like this for any other servant in the game. I honestly kind of like it. It's something unique. It's something different. Though obviously it would have been just better if this MP just gave everything. But obviously they felt like they didn't want to do that. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, quick servants get extra attack buffs. Arts servants get extra crit damage, and buster servants get more MP damage, which makes sense, I guess. So yeah, I do want to say that that Law Zingle seems to be trying to push the whole arts crit agenda pretty hard, because like Theseus from last time, I think it was also an arts servant, and Theseus had, again, like I mentioned earlier, all of his own Starbomb skills. So it's very interesting. But naturally, from like a gameplay, like an actual gameplay context, yeah, ain't nobody using this MP for its for the arts buff crit damage, or the crit damage buff given to for like anybody who has an arts buff. So yeah, this MP is definitely gonna support like quick servants and buster servants more, for real, for real. Just a guess, just a guess, but still very interesting effect. It could be better, of course. Everything could be, but yeah, at least it's something of an interesting take on how MPs are designed now, or support MPs are designed. And on top of that, she even heals the team. That's actually pretty nice. The HP or the heal that she gives everybody off her MP's overcharge. So because she heals, that means that she can be used as both a sustain and support buffer. So yeah, that means that if you want to use her in an arts team, assuming you bring along Tamamo, yeah, that means that if you bring her with Tamamo, she basically doesn't have a cooldown on her guts. Her guts should always be active, and she can use her first skill whenever she likes, basically. Let's see. She gets her second skill back faster, though it's still on like a 9 to 7 turn cooldown, so it'll still take some time for this skill to come back at the very least. And sorry, mouse on my or key the scroll wheel on my keyboard, or not keyboard, my mouse is acting haywire. Has been for like the past couple of months, unfortunately. And finally, third skill is on an 8 to 6 turn cooldown, and yeah, even more arts buffs and crit damage and MP charge and whatnot. Let's see, yeah. So I do think that Yui is intended to be a sustain art support. So as in, like, you put her on the same thing as Talmo and see what happens. So yeah, I'm actually quite curious as to how well she does perform, because like her NP obviously is the most interesting part about her kit. So I kind of want to see somebody actually, you know, take Yui out for a spin and see how well she performs. Other than that, let's take a look at her max bond C. Should be around here somewhere. When equipped on Yui, increases party's arts performance by 50% and party's crit damage by 50% when she's on the field with this CE. This makes sense. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Support the give the party even more arts buffs and even more crit damage buffs. So yeah, it makes sense on Yui. Again, not sure if you're gonna use it because of the lower, you know, armor, not armor. I'm thinking of another game. The lower stats. Yeah, there we go. The lower stats. Yeah. Not sure if you're gonna use this too often, but you know, it does still make sense in case you want your Yui to support her team even more. So yeah. Overall, Yui's kit is interesting. I feel like they could have been a lot riskier with what they decided to give Yui, but still her MP is really cool. Never seen things like that before, or you know, skill effects or MP effects done quite like that before. And then yeah, her second skill is obviously really good. Her third skill is also pretty decent. Just her first skill is kind of the, you know, is kind of the useless one when it comes to farming and whatnot, but okay, I think that should be about it for Yui. Lastly, to wrap up this video, we'll go over Ushi Gozen, or young Raiko Lily, if we can even call her that. So start with the stats, sorry. 12,430. That's still pretty high. Obviously, it's not quite as high as like Takeru's, for example, or in comparison. But yeah, Ushi Gozen still has quite a bit of attack herself. And remember, she's an Avenger, and Avengers have the 1.1x damage class damage modifier. So her attack stat actually is a lot higher. Is significant, not significantly, but it's still noticeably higher than it normally would be. So keep that in mind. 0.55% MP charge on attack with a 4-hit arts card, which she only has 1, and surprisingly, she's got she got a triple quick deck, a full-on assassin deck with 6-hit quicks. That's quite surprising. And her NP is also, I believe, AoE. AoE with 6 on it, 6 hits on it too. So yeah, that would explain why she's got an NP charge attack of 0.55%. Lawful Evil and Demonic, Divine, Genji, Humanoid, Non-Humanized Servant, Oni, Servant, and weak to enemy leash. So yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary, I would say, as far as traits go. Yeah, solid stats. I mean, about as good stats you can get for as an Avenger, unless you were to pull a Jolter and all of a sudden get 13,000 attack out of nowhere. But yeah, most servants aren't like that though. Let's see here. Going into her skills now. I remember I went over Ushi Gozen's skills a little bit ago, and on the night that she first came out for JP, and I remember them not being terribly good. But yeah, we'll take a look here. Increases own damage against demonic servants for three turns. Increases own damage against servant enemies with earth attribute for 3 turns as well. And increases own crit damage for 3 turns. So yeah, excuse me. Crit damage buff, power and double power mod buffs. I think just like regular Raikou, these two stack because I believe enemies can be both demonic and earth type, or earth attribute, whatever. So yeah, I guess just be on lookout for anybody who's both demonic and earth. Maybe like Ibaraki, I guess. Ibaraki is the first one that comes to mind, honestly. But yeah, so anti-demonic, anti-earth attribute. Then again, though, it's specifically against servant enemies, so you can't just abuse earth against just about anyone. Then again, most regular enemies don't even have like some sort of attribute on them anyway. And actually, no, they should. Yeah, they should. And I remember regular enemies, like non-servant enemies, having their own having their own servant. Wow, I just lost my train of thought. Holy crap. Anyways, but yeah, anti-demonic, anti-servant, blah blah blah. So yeah. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, even there are even regular enemies that have like actual attributes. So kind of a pity that Ushi Gozen's anti-earth damage is specifically only against servants, but. Again, for like the 3rd time or something, I'm sure there is like an anti-demon or there's a demonic earth servant out there in the game. So I guess whenever they show up, Ushi Gozen will just put them in the frickin' dirt, I guess. All right, second skill, Buster and Quick double buff at 30%. You'd love to see that. Grants self on buff attack or on attack buff for 5 attacks 3 turns, where she increases her own crit damage when attacking with quick cards. For 3 turns and activates first. Okay, so even more crit damage basically. First skill is just a general crit damage buff, and then second skill is a quick specific crit buff. All right. Lastly, 3rd skill increases star rate by 1 turn for 1 turn, increases crit damage for 1 turn, and increases MP damage for 1 turn, and charges own MP gauge for or by 30 to 50%. Okay, so she does have a 50% battery. That's nice to see. That's nice to see at least. But yeah, it's unfortunate that her star weight, crit damage, and MP damage are all only for 1 turn. Like the values on them are good. Oh, actually, no. For Avengers, yeah, for Avengers 2000 should be good enough. Yeah, because they're not like berserker levels of bad when it comes to their star weight, like default star weight. So yeah, like I would have loved for one of these effects at least to be for 3 turns, right? Either the star weight or the MP damage, preferably. I mean, hell, I'd take the crit damage even better than nothing. But yeah, would have been nice for at least one of these effects to have 3 turns on it. So yeah, unfortunately, not quite a great, not as great of a crit Avenger like, say, Jolter is. Anyways, moving on here. her third skill, her third appen is at least useful because anti-berserker. So again, she'll be hitting advantage against them. And then finally, her NP. So deals damage to all enemies, AoE, reduces their crit chance by 30% for 3 turns, and 40% chance to stun them. Deals extra damage against enemies with the Earth attribute. So neither of these are really, that unique or surprising. Yeah, AoE, quick AoE MP, reduces crit chance, and then 40% chance to stun. So, nothing like stands out here, except for obviously the extra damage against Earth attribute, and I believe this is against any enemy, not just servants with the Earth attribute. Kind of weird that her overcharge is against Earth enemies in general, and not just servants. So I kind of wonder why there's a discrepancy in that, or in that sense, but. So yeah, my takeaway from Ushi Gozen here is that, like, she's supposed to be a quick looping servant considering you have 50% battery, and she'll be really good against Earth enemies. I think she's a quick looping specialist specifically against Earth enemies. Because, yeah, you've got her anti-Earth overcharge, overcharge level, and then you've got your anti-Earth servant damage power mod here, demonic damage, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I do feel that there was quite a bit of missed potential here as far as, like, just gameplay kits go. I mean, I'm not commenting on her outfit or anything, or her actual physical appearance. I'm talking about her gameplay, because I know that a lot of people fucking hate Raita for whatever reason. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of room for improvement for, like, giving her some better skills at least. Like, they gave Iori a 3-turn Starway buff and a 3-turn crit damage buff. Like, they couldn't do the same for Ushi Gozen at the very least. So it's kind of frustrating, but oh well, that's what we gotta work with. So yeah, at the very least, I think Ushi Gozen looks cool at least, because she in her MP animation, she's like just steps on you with Gulagana or whatever that divine cow's name is. I don't remember. So. But yeah, that'll be it, I think, for all the servants. Wow, I've been recording this for an hour straight. Jesus. So, no wonder I've been losing my train of thought. I'm freaking tired. Been talking for an hour straight. So, anyways, so yeah, those should wrap up my thoughts on all of the new JP servants that have come out so far this year. Let me know how you guys thought of this video. If you guys prefer me, like doing a taking the time to write a script, because I've been rambling for too long, for like an hour long. So, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what I could do better with this sorts of videos, because I do plan on making more in this series as we get more servants in JP. And if you guys want me to cover like previous JP servants that aren't in NA but have come out in JP over the past 2 years, I can definitely do that too, while we're waiting for more JP servants to come out. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for your input, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.